I thought about playing the Uno, and then I thought it'd be better to have a conversation. I was like, man, it's too much concentration and shit. What's going on, gentlemen? How are you?
My bad, I don't want to be.
Nah, you good.
Yeah, I have to get the text out.
Oh, I'm straight. You can text the whole time.
Whatever.
You wouldn't fuck up your head.
Yeah, that's not. I just had to get the. Anyway, how you feeling, bro?
Oh man, one again, I appreciate you guys coming through, so thank you very much. Man. I wish you could have a drink, but you're driving, so
yeah, don't drink and drive. Don't do it. Going to 18, you better not be fucking drinking, G. Just wait.
I actually love that on the podcast and shit. Yeah. That's dope.
You know?
Yeah, got some decent stuff for the youth.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, do me a
Pray
favor.
for the youth.
Pray for the youth.
Pray for the youth.
Do me a favor, introduce yourselves, who you guys are, what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Pavy. I'm also an artist, and I am one half of Hoops and Brews.
And I'm TPJ. I'm also an artist, but like a filmmaker, talent manager, and I co-host Hoops and Brews as well.
Got you.
Yeah.
I say I'm a fan of the shit.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. You guys had my guy Chris Kidd, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Chris the homie. I might be working with him soon.
For real? How'd that come about?
Just Twitter.
Okay.
Literally just Twitter. Like when we first started our Twitter account, it was, I mean, like we started it from scratch, like just like the homies, and then we just started it just started going crazy. Like, and not even necessarily in terms of like we got a million followers, but like we get like hella engagement on the page, so we just argue with motherfuckers all day long.
I see that.
Like it's been days in which I've woken up at 8 a.m., tweeted one thing, and literally argued with people until like 9 p.m. to the point where I was like, yo, I got shit to do now. Like, I literally cannot respond to y'all anymore. I'm sorry. Like, no.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I randomly check it, and then I'm like, who is he arguing with? Then I randomly see it, and like, I don't even know how we started this argument. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess
go back to the beginning.
Yeah, like, he got it. I'm not even getting on the page today. Like,
what made you guys want to start a podcast?
Honestly, I just watch a lot of basketball. So when I first moved out here, I moved here in September 2014. And when I first moved out here, like, of course, you don't really know anybody. Like, I only knew him, my manager, and one of my other homies, but he lives in Pasadena. So that, like, if you live in LA and Pasadena, it's completely different.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't really have much to do, and I didn't have cable, but I had an Xbox. So I just bought. Literally, like I didn't have cable, but I had.
I'm sorry, no, I feel you. I've been a cord cutter. I've been a cord cutter since I came out here, but that statement just funny as hell.
I was like, yo, I'll just buy a league pass because I have something to watch every day. I like watching basketball anyway. Like
you watch on your Xbox.
So I started to watch so much basketball and really have I always had an appreciation for the game, but not like I have now because I watch it so much. So I'm looking for different things.
Right.
So I remember it was the 2015 playoffs. I think we watched the whole thing, the entire playoffs. At
really?
Yeah, I had a studio, and they live in the same building. Him and his manager, they live in the same building as me. So I had like a studio at that time. Not like a recording studio, but like a studio apartment. But it was like on the ground, so we could make noise. It's like we in an apartment complex, and everything is over my head. So I could pretty much make as much noise as I wanted to without it like being over somebody's head or affecting somebody. Yeah, so we used to just literally watch the game, and we watched a lot of the whole season, really.
Yeah, and we would break into long arguments every single time.
I can see that.
And I'd be like, bro, we gotta start recording this. Like, bro, we have to just start recording this. Like, we break into 2 minutes. It'll be like a 2-hour argument. And it'd actually be some decent conversations. Like, one of the things we would always used to like to do is be like, yo, is he a Hall of Famer? Just randomly. Just like
Chris Paul, he's not a Hall of Famer.
You don't think Chris Paul Hall of Famer?
Fuck no, man.
You think Melo's a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, but Melo at least made it to the conference finals. Chris Paul can't make it to fourth place.
See, and that's my thing. That's my comparison always is Chris Paul and Melo because they got pretty similar resumes.
Yeah, but you gotta. Chris Paul ain't never made it to fourth place. At least Melo has.
Okay, against the Lakers, right? What was that? Yeah. 2010, 2009.
That has nothing to do with whether or not you're
09 or 2010.
That was 09.
That was 09.
That has nothing to do with whether or not you're Hall of Famer.
Yes, it
Chris
does.
Paul has consistently been one of the best point guards in the league year by year.
He's
like a 10-time All-Star.
He ain't done shit.
He ain't done shit.
It's all about
he got
that.
as many conference finals wins.
I remember you guys' conversation about Chris Paul winning MVP. Or when he didn't win MVP when it was with the
He should have won MVP that year over Kobe.
Over Kobe?
They won one less game, and in my opinion, Chris Paul did more or less. He averaged 22.
Kobe averaged like 32 that year.
No, he did not. Kobe averaged 26 and 27. It was like 27, 5, and 6. And Chris Paul averaged 22, 11, 4 rebounds, and like 2.8 steals.
But wasn't Kobe going crazy that season?
No.
Nah, that was like 2 seasons before.
No, 2 seasons after.
Nah.
That was 09.
No, because when Kobe average was like 35 or something like that.
That was like way before.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's my point though. He wasn't doing
Kobe got a consolation prize MVP.
Fuck
it was like
no,
Kobe's MVP was a lifetime achievement.
He won the best player in the NBA at that point in time?
He was the best player, but he had the best season.
I disagree with
Chris
that.
Paul had a better season.
And
his team won one less game.
I disagree.
And he did more with less.
He did do more with less.
Kobe Bryant had...
Who did Kobe have on that
Paul
team?
Gasol.
Okay.
Paul Gasol. And Bynum.
What was that? 07 or...
That was 09.
That was 09.
And Bynum. And Lamar Odom. My man's Chris Paul had Tyson Chandler. Not Tyson Chandler we know now. That Tyson Chandler after the Bulls, he's possibly a bust Tyson Chandler.
The man still had to go out there and fucking play a basketball game.
Old Pager, and had David West, who he made an All-Star.
I don't take away
He made him
people's
an All-Star.
MVPs.
Yeah.
I don't take away
I
people's
do.
MVPs.
I take away Karl Malone's MVP.
I don't take away anybody's MVP.
You should
Yes.
take away Karl Malone's MVP.
Yes. You can take away everybody in the 90s MVP that won MVP over Jordan if you really wanted to.
Realistically. It's kind of the same thing that's happening with LeBron now.
Yeah.
No, LeBron don't deserve all these MVPs.
Okay.
LeBron should have at least. LeBron should, I'm not even a LeBron fan, and I think he should have at least 6.
He don't.
He's consistently been the best player in the league year by year. If you take LeBron off those teams are most of the time lottery teams. He's been to 8 straight finals.
So take him off that Heat team with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade and their lottery team.
No, not at all. Don't you tell that lie.
They took him all the next year. What happened?
Everybody was
fucking
gone
Chris
the
Bosh
next
and
year.
Dwayne.
No, they weren't. Everybody wasn't gone.
Yeah, and everybody said it was over for D Wade, and then Chris Bosh fucking heart got fucked up the year after. Like, come on.
But
like,
you took them off.
You acting like they like.
But you going from NBA Finals to you going to a first round.
You
team.
talking about prime D Wade and prime
That's
Chris
not
Bosh?
prime D Wade.
No, I'm talking about when
you're talking
LeBron
about
first
okay,
went to
okay,
Miami.
okay.
Prime D Wade and prime Chris Bosh.
Even before, the year
Fuck
before
out.
when they won, was it 41, 42 games with D Wade?
Yeah, stop trying to take
They
away
had a miracle season.
I mean, that's a huge difference.
G. Chris Paul can't even get no accomplishments.
that's a
You
huge
trying to take away
difference
other
between-
people's accomplishments.
Finals, and that's a huge
To give him an accomplishment.
But to get back on point, that's basically as you
How it all
see,
started?
Yeah, how it
Okay.
started. And I was like, yo, we got to start recording this. So at the beginning of last year, we just sat down one day and was like, yo, we just bought the mics.
Yeah.
And we was like, we finna record this shit.
Yeah, they were
And-
terrible for like the first.
Yeah, and
well,
then-
the episodes weren't terrible. The topics was good, but the sound
Format
quality was terrible.
All right. You got.
So we
I
like
will say you
figure
got
shit-
sound
figure it
quality
out.
has improved.
I mean, yeah,
even from
Yeah.
the summertime.
Yeah, but
to
that's
now.
also like half of that is learning how to deal with these podcasts, and the other half is like now that everything is all digital and not analog, doing it and recording it is a lot easier. But the safety with analog is that you can control every single little thing.
Right.
So like, although we both had good mics, and he still had a solid mic, which was like a blue mic. For that specific mic, you have to be like directly in front of it in order for the sound. So if we just like doing it, and then
what brand was
it was a blue snowball mic. Like if you watch people doing YouTube videos,
like
or whatever,
like the Chaotica eyeball. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. It's just like a little white round like mic. You've probably seen one before.
I know.
But like if you have a
company out there
stand
that
and you have it mounted right in front of your face,
Right.
it's perfect. But if
Yeah.
we sitting across the table from each other, yelling and screaming at each other and standing up all the time, like you got to stay within pocket of that.
Of course.
So that's why it wasn't a good mic. So like we just was like when we started the new season, upgrade. So we upgraded. He actually got the mic that I used to have, and I got a newer and different mic that's like the same brand.
Okay.
But when we were having guests, the main reason why we went and got new mics is because we had guests and we let them bring their own mic. And it's not saying anything bad about them, like they were doing fine, but like their mic wasn't.
It's not the same quality.
Yeah, exactly. It was two people sharing one mic. Now, two people sharing the mics that we have now will be fine because then they'll be sitting next to each other and both register.
Right.
But you know, letting people bring their own mics, and with all these mics being USB and shit like that, you gotta really.
There's so many different
Yeah,
variants.
you gotta really understand. And even like we both tried to get the same mic, but blue mics they have like a kind of this thing with the serial numbers where every single one of the mics has the same digital serial number. So you can't use two of them in the same computer because they won't register separately.
Only one will register?
Exactly. So I had to go get a different mic that he had. So that's why even the quality of the mics was different because they were two different brands because you couldn't do it with the digital. But if we was like analog and we bought like condenser, you know, concert mics and stands and all this other shit,
that's how
it
we
would
do.
have sounded better initially, but then like the convenience of it goes away. Like,
Of course, yeah.
You know.
And if you guys are running it yourselves, I understand you simplified it down to like its rawest form.
Yeah, it's literally me and him sitting in my living room on a desk.
Is that what it is? That's
literally
what it is?
me and him
Okay.
sitting in my living room on at a desk with two metal photos.
I love the setup. I wouldn't imagine that it was a living room.
But that's the fact that you said that is fucking hilarious. Actually, I gotta give a shout out to my girlfriend because before she moved in, that shit did not look like that. It was before she moved in, it was 2 bookshelves, entertainment stand, and 1 couch, and like some wooden cubes. That was it.
Girlfriends do that.
So she came in and like brought all her stuff, put curtains up and shit.
Yeah.
Like bookshelves, it looks way better. Like it looks like it might be a fake set, which is the fact that you said that is hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
When I started doing these interviews, they were just literally out of my house. I interviewed E and everybody else. It's like it was literally like in the dining room, in the corner with some construction lights and the camera.
It worked.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I like that. Yeah, I like your aesthetic though, especially just all of them black and white. Like, it's very simple. Like, you don't even have to other shit to really like look at. Right. That's the one thing about interviews that like are tough. So the fact that you can interview as many people as you have, you know.
No, I appreciate it, bro.
Obviously, skill with that.
Trying, man. Yeah. Trying to build it. So, what's your ambitions for the podcast? And I know, and you as an artist as well. Like,
well, I started the podcast just because, like, I told myself I always want 3 things creatively to do, or 3 things that I'm always working on creatively. Yeah. And just because it keeps everything fresh. Like, if you only do music, it's like that gets tiring. Right. If you only do this, that gets tiring. It can just get mentally exhausting sometimes. So. When I started, it was really just like a hobby. I didn't really have like any actual ambitions like for it. I don't think we either had any.
No. We just wanted to like.
Yeah, we just wanted to yell at each other and like record it.
And we were like, people might think this is funny.
Yeah.
Because people listen to it the first time, they're like, y'all crazy.
Right.
Yeah. But we didn't really have no goals for it. I mean, of course, the thought of like, oh, well, we could do this, or we could take this place, or go that place. Like, you have like those thoughts, but it's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, whatever. Who cares? Like, nobody's gonna listen. Remember when we first uploaded the first episode, we got like 5 plays. So to go from 5, and even now it's not a ton, but our YouTube traffic and everything's picking up. So like, it's just a process. Like, yeah.
And now I think we just both more so look at it as like a business as well. It's like it's really fun, but it's like also an actual business. So I take it just as serious for me as I take my music, because that's all something I can add into my personal palette and makes me bigger as a human being. And not just like I'm solely doing music, I'm solely doing this, but it's like you bring it all together and you get to capitalize in both worlds, which also means more money because you get to capitalize in both worlds.
Of course.
Like, you could do something as in when Drake hosted the NBA Awards. Like, why can't I do something like that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for my own personal goals, that's like me. I want to be like the biggest at.
You want to build your brand up.
Yeah, at both mediums that I can.
If you don't co-host NBA Awards, I'm never speaking to you again.
Yeah, like, I like.
You do it by yourself, I'm never speaking to you again.
Yeah, if you do it by yourself, bro, I can't talk to you either.
I'm like,
just off the strength that you guys.
Like, fuck him. I don't know him anymore. Like, he changed. He got a little bit of fame went to his head.
That's
but still, like, and even still, with him being a filmmaker, like, just capitalize on both worlds. And so I think that's both our ambitions with it now, just to make it as big as we possibly can. And it's fun. Like, I feel like we drive culture as far as the NBA culture. Like, this might sound dickheadish, but I can tweet a question, and it's still funny to me that people will really come on and answer a question. Like, today I tweeted, who's the NBA player that you hate watching the most? And I'm pretty sure I'm still getting responses, and I tweeted that question like 4 hours ago.
Right.
And it's also cool to see the responses.
But that was good though. I mean, and you got to keep that up.
Yeah.
Point. Does it ever become challenging coming up with the material?
Nah, man, because we was gonna do it anyway. Yeah. Like, it's not like we not gonna watch basketball, like we not gonna have these conversations. Like, it's gonna be something new every night. People hoop every night. So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
There's always something fresh.
Yeah, we was gonna do it anyway. Like, we was literally, I would just be on my personal page typing the same things that I'm typing on the Hoops and Brews page.
Right. So for you in building the aesthetic, because as a filmmaker, does it ever become like a challenge, or is it, what kind of challenge is it?
It's a fucking grind. It's a fucking grind. It's a dead ass grind. Like, I got a full time like real job, like not no like.
What do you do?
I'm a talent manager, but so like I got like an actual like real full time like 9 to 6 salary kind of like job. Like, I work at a media company, so it's like 2 fucking full time jobs. But I have to like keep myself busy creatively, so I'm like always working on something. Got a film that I just submitted to Sundance. I help him out with shoot all his music videos and help him with his music and meeting people and coordinating shit and helping him with drummers and finding shit like that. So like, so like I'm one of the type of people, if I'm just sitting around doing nothing and just drinking and hanging out all the time, then I'm just kind of like, what am I doing with myself?
Yeah.
Like I want to take over the world. So then I'm not saying that jokingly. Like I mean that shit. I want to take over the fucking world. So it's like whatever. Like I was doing something with my girl the other day. Oh no, we went to go see a comedy show. And it was like all these older comedians. They were all like 50 something. And they talking about like being single and fucking still smoking weed and like banging random chicks. And I'm just like, damn, I don't even like. No, it's not even that. It's just in my mind. I was like, damn, I can't even. The concept of 53 seems so far away from me. I was just like, I don't even like. I've never even envisioned myself getting to 53. Like I'm trying. Like I'm so focused on the now. Like fuck 53. Like my mind state is never in the that far in the future. Like I'm looking, like I'm trying to get this shit now. So even with this shit, like just building an aesthetic at first, literally, I got like a 4K camera that's like a DSLR, the GH4, like the original one. I haven't bought the new one, but
that shit's still good though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it still shoots 4K. It's perfectly fine for me for everything that I really need. If I need to do something bigger, I just go and get a red. But yeah, so when I first started shooting them, I was shooting them in 4K. But you have to like down res all that stuff to get it to fit on social media. Like the video files got to be less than a gig to get on Twitter, and then even with YouTube and with modern day internet, if you uploading 2-3 gigs a night, that's just a lot of fucking data that you constantly.
So if you're putting on like your Dropbox, whatever.
Yeah, and now that the fact that we actually like are going after the market. Like actually going after it, as before when we just was looking at it like, oh, it's a cool little hobby. Now that we like actually going after the market, I gotta like stay up on my shit. So when I get home from this, I gotta go and export 2 more Hoops and Brews clips, upload them, tag them, do all the
increase in you guys' visuals.
Yeah.
Was that like a conscious decision?
Well, I mean, from the in terms of the graphics, yeah. I mean, but that's just because when I first started it, I was just trying to be as low maintenance as possible. It's just like how can we pump this shit out without me having to do any extra work? Because we didn't have no following. But then once we started building the following, I was like, well, I can't be a filmmaker on my normal Twitter page and talk about filmmaking stuff, and then our shit be. I mean, and even with the way it was when we first did it, of course, like it was very simple in terms of the point, but. Looking at most people's podcasts, like they don't really have a graphics package or none of this shit like that. So I was like, fuck it, if we gonna actually do it, then we need to make it look like if you watching this every morning, you watching the ESPN, FS1 or whatever the fuck. But like it's our shit though.
Right.
We do whatever the fuck we want to. We say what we want to, and that's how we go about handling it. But if you see it now versus before it looked a lot more niche. But now if you see it, you look at it, you're like, oh, this is probably a real sports program.
Right.
So that's just was the goal behind the aesthetic. I keep fucking thinking, because I got this stuff in my pocket, that when I hear it move, I keep thinking it's falling out because I'm used to having my keys in my lap. But yeah, in terms of I told him going to the new season, I gotta update all the graphics. So when I just went in and just made.
At least you guys have a plan, man. Because a lot of people jump into whatever they're doing, kind of half-assed. They don't plan it out.
That's not me.
And you guys are 50+ episodes in at this point in time.
I mean, we're 58 in. Yeah. I mean, but the fact that I'm a talent manager and a filmmaker and I do all the other artistic stuff, like there should be no reason why we should be half-assed in anything that we do. And even in terms of me updating the graphics package, like I knew from day one, I was telling him like I'm gonna eventually update it, but it had to get to the point where it actually became worth it. Like I'm a firm believer in return over investment, so I'm not going to spend all my time if I don't think the investment is worth it.
Right.
And even with the little bit of money we put into it to pay for SoundCloud and the site and all that shit like that, if it pays off, then it's a worthwhile investment. Like a lot of creative people, don't invest in themselves, and that's one thing that I always appreciated, and that's why I always like work with him. Even when I shot, like 30-some music videos for him, you gotta be investing in yourself in order to pay for all that shit. So
absolutely. Yeah. Camera started rolling. So, you guys get a lot of there's a lot of chatter online, a lot of arguments, a lot of debates, a lot of insults I've seen as well.
Fuck people and they feelings. If you get mad enough to want to fight me over a basketball argument, you lost already.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys ever since you guys are in LA, is there anybody that's ever tried to come at you?
What you gonna come at me at what? Because I said Kobe Bryant was trash? Legit. Like, if you saw me in public, I'm jumping to fade you because you said you hate Chris Paul. Like, what?
Right.
Hell
Hey,
no.
my nigga, we live in LA. Niggas will definitely try to fade you over saying.
No. But even within, it's like if you look at most of the arguments, like that's why I said if you getting angry over an argument. Yeah. Like anything I see on your Twitter page is fair game when you banging an argument me about basketball because I have no other piece of context to assume what your knowledge is about basketball. So if you wearing a stupid ass hat in your profile picture, I'm assuming you don't really know nothing about hoops then.
Right. And that's it.
Yeah, stop worrying about a Chris Paul Hall of Fame and go fix that hat, G.
That's hella
It's
funny.
fucked up out here.
Yeah.
What do you really know?
Fix that hairline, G.
Especially if your whole argument is, especially if people's whole argument is, but Chris Paul been an all-star. Like, I don't care if he been a fucking all-star.
Well, that's why I said the thing about Melo, too. Because everybody gets on Melo's head for not having accomplished shit. Really.
I mean, like...
They got similar resumes.
Melo got more accomplishments than Chris Paul.
Like what, though?
Like leading his team to a conference finals.
Okay. But he doesn't have more personal accomplishments, though.
They about what and what?
No, they aren't.
Yes, they are.
You know, Chris Paul has led the league in steals 6 times. And led the league in assists 4 times.
You the same one that tell me steals are overrated. So
they
what's
are,
your point?
but he still did it.
The real question is, my nigga, what has that led to though?
That's my point. Like I always say,
Melo can
like
affect the game more ways than Chris Paul can because he's 6'8".
Right now, who's your favorite player in the league?
Kyrie, and then LeBron.
My favorite player is still Steph. It's been Steph for like 4 or 5 years.
You think Steph's the best point guard in the league?
Yeah,
hell yeah.
No.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Stop.
Easily.
Best point guard.
Best player?
Best point guard in the league.
Best point guard.
Hey,
no.
to me,
point
guard. Look, see, the people fuck it up by saying because he can shoot. That does not make him a great point guard.
But that's not why he's a great point guard.
I
yeah, that's not why I was.
But to me, if I'm gonna say great point guards, like I think John Wall is the best point guard, pure point guard. John Wall to me is the best point guard.
No. If we talking pure point guard, yes.
Hold on, real quick.
If we're talking pure point guard, Chris Paul on his own team is still the best pure point guard in the league.
He's old though. You can't say
it doesn't
that.
matter.
That 5 years
it
ago,
doesn't matter.
I agree.
I don't
matter.
fuck with that whole like pure point guard. This that like you either
run the point or you don't.
You either run the point or you don't.
No, but that's a but that's a
discussion.
discussion.
Guard, my nigga that plays the point guard position.
My
bad. My nigga, you get like. No, I'm sorry. You doing an interview, my nigga.
No, but it's fine though. But this is the effect though.
I know.
But
basketball, I can't not jump.
Exactly.
But it's fine though. It's fine. But that's not true though. Russell Westbrook is a shooting guard masquerading as a point guard.
Steph Curry is a point. Steph Curry is too. But he plays because Steph Curry is still a shoot first point guard.
Yeah, but he's still always like.
If you're a shoot first point guard, you are a 2 guard playing a point guard position. Point guards are not meant to be shoot first players.
If Chris Paul can put up 30 a game,
the definition of a point guard is not to be a shoot first.
Prime Chris Paul. Why he didn't do it then?
He did.
He ain't never averaged more than 23
because
a game.
he's a pure point guard.
Fuck up.
That's not what point guards are supposed to do.
So what's the definition of a pure point guard?
A pure point guard is a guy who gets the team involved before he gets himself involved.
So what's a pure shooting guard? What's a pure small forward?
A guy who
What's a pure power forward? What's a pure center? Like
there are definitely definitions for all of
about.
those things. There are definitions for all of those things. Your consummate wing player, you want him
outside, my nigga.
The game evolved.
I'm sorry, my nigga.
The game evolved. The football is not the same as it was 10 years ago. Every game evolves. Even chess ain't the same game as it was when people first started playing chess.
Yes, but there are still things as pure. For instance, they still got pocket passers. If you're talking about, so some guys think a pure quarterback is a guy who sits in the pocket and is a pocket passer. You wouldn't consider Cam Newton the perfect quarterback.
But you don't even, but honestly, even pure pocket passers, what is that definition now?
Right. Tom Brady.
Tom Brady really ain't a pure pocket passer.
Well,
he mainly stays in the pocket, but if he needs to get out, when in the playoffs, when Tom Brady needs to make plays with his legs, he does. He just prefers to be in the because he has a fucking great offensive line.
That's what a pure pocket passer does.
Look at somebody like Russell Wilson, Cam Newton. They've always had shitty lines. So why would they stay in the pocket when they getting fucking hit every play?
But also,
Russell Wilson, to me personally, is a pocket passer.
I would agree with you on Russell Wilson.
He averaging damn near 80 yards a game because he got run.
Russell Wilson, I would agree with you. If we were talking about like Michael Vick, no. So again,
what would be the difference? What would be the difference?
Vick is a scrambling QB.
So what's Russell Wilson though?
What's Cam Newton?
Scrambling QB.
And Tom Brady is a pure because he's in that position.
By choice. That's the difference.
By what?
By force or by choice?
Yeah, that's the difference between Mike Vick and Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but if Steph Curry wanted to go out and average 10 assists a game, he could. But he also is the primary scorer on his team, the greatest shooter of all time, the greatest shooter off the dribble. If I have all of these other things and gifts, the same thing with LeBron. This fucking idiot says that LeBron isn't a scorer.
He's not.
But even with LeBron, LeBron has
scorer.
so many tools in his toolbox. Why would I only limit myself to using one of them when I can utilize every other tool in my toolbox as equally as I can utilize the main thing that I have?
Who made the point the other day that well, somebody's better than, it was you. Bradley Beal is better than Klay Thompson?
Yeah.
You think he's a better all-around player than Klay Thompson?
Yes.
Do you think it's because Klay hasn't had the ability to be the star in this team?
No, I think it's because Klay doesn't have the ability to create his own shot like Bradley Beal. If we're talking about offensive game and we're talking about from behind the 3-point line, catch and shoot, Klay is the best catch and shoot player ever. But if we making the man put the ball on the floor and go create his own shot, which is also a huge part of offense, then Bradley Beal's a better player. And also defensively, I think Klay is helped out a lot by the people he played with, by the people who are behind him.
He wasn't always fucking playing with those
he wasn't
players.
always that good of a defender.
He been a fucking good defender.
He's been a good. Listen,
like this is legit why I don't like, because you
I
don't
never said he
fucking
was
watch.
bad.
Come
I
on,
never said
G.
that.
Come on, G.
Did I say the man was a
Stop
bad
the
defender?
He been guarding the best
Did I say the man
perimeter
was a
player
bad
on the
defender?
other team.
Did I say?
Since
I
he
never
fucking
said.
started.
Listen, I never said the man was a bad defender. I just say I think people overrated him as a defender.
So Bradley Beal a better defender?
No, but the fact that Bradley Beal's offensive game is at a different level, as a complete different level of plays is.
Stop.
It is.
Bradley Beal in his career will never score 60 points.
He's not going to score 60.
And he's scoring 37 in a fucking quarter. He ain't hitting 11 3-pointers in a fucking playoff game.
Klay not doing that on his own team.
Klay do that on his own team.
He can do that on his own team.
Bradley Beal won't smell 50.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. If we're talking about that doesn't matter. If we're talking about complete offensive game, it's Bradley Beal.
How?
No,
he can do more things offensively than what Klay can offensively.
If you want to talk about complete offensive play, my nigga, then you have to talk about a complete player, because it's like you want to talk about.
Yeah, you can't just talk about one part of his
Bradley
game.
Beal can do every single thing that Klay can do.
Defense is put on the table. I'm taking Klay Thompson every time, bro.
But okay, so let me ask you this real quick. In the room, there's 5 players that you can debate with. 5 current players, 5 former players. No, well, just a combination of the two. Just 5 players, period. That you get a chance to debate with about them.
About them?
About them. Who's in the room?
I mean, I got my 5.
What's your 5?
My 5 is number 1, Shaq, because I want to then ask Shaq, and I want him to be sitting there and say, Shaq, this man said that you were not a scorer because you could only score from within 15 feet. And I want Shaq to look him in his face and say, shut the fuck up. And then that's the end of the segment, G. That's the end of the whole last segment. I ain't got shit to say.
Who are the rest of the 4 players?
That's
it?
No. But he's one of the players. Chris Paul.
Shaq, nigga.
That's it.
I would probably say Shaq. I would say Chris Paul, because I want Chris Paul to look me in my eyes and tell me why he wasn't able to do the things that he should be doing if people are crowning him as a top 5 point guard or a top anything in anything. Like, I want him to look me in my eyes, and I want him to tell me and explain to me why he ain't never made it to at least 4th place.
Okay.
But he's the best. After that, I would probably say LeBron, because I want to ask LeBron, like, I want to look him in his face the same way I look at Chris Paul. Why are you 3-5 in the finals? And then I want to also ask him after that question, do you think you're the greatest player of all time? And then when he tells me yes, I'm gonna say, then why are you 3-5 in the finals? And I don't want to hear no excuses about nobody being a team game. I don't want to hear none of that shit. I don't want to hear none of that bullshit. I don't want to hear none of that shit. And then my last two. I would probably say I would want to interview Steph just for sheer perspective. I've been taking up for him against this motherfucker, and I would also probably really like to sit down, and I would like to talk to Derrick Rose, honestly. Because I feel like even to this point, Derrick Rose is the biggest reason why Derrick Rose isn't where Derrick Rose should be. Even after the leg injury, being from Chicago, all of them. I've never necessarily seen the dedication that I would have wanted from Derrick Rose after he got hurt, since he got hurt.
You think that's because they don't show it? Or you think that you think it's something that's not being chronicled and shown?
No, I mean I just think that he comes from Chicago, and I literally grew up a mile away from where he grew up at. My younger brother went to Simeon. Well, two of my younger brothers went to Simeon. They knew Derrick Rose personally. Like, the problem is when you come up in that environment, and you basically the same shit that Lonzo is going to deal with. But the best part for Lonzo is that Lonzo isn't from Compton, or he's not from, you know, in LA. He's from Chino Hill, so he's removed from like all of the shit that would encompass of like coming from a neighborhood, being the guy, then everybody betting on you to be the guy, and then you actually are the guy. But Derrick Rose's character, more than anything else, has like been his biggest like toss up. Like, if we got to worry about you not showing up to a game, and not even that you didn't show up to a game, you didn't call nobody, you didn't text nobody, you didn't say nothing, you just didn't show up. Like, that's a microcosm of his whole career. He just does wild shit that he shouldn't be doing. I want to look him in his face and ask him, do you truly think that if you would have done a different thing in terms of how you treated your respect for the game, that you would still be an all-star level player? Because I see the ability out there, but he ain't got no better at any other spots on the floor. Gotcha. Like, he's gotten marginally better at being a basketball player, but when he got hurt and he lost that, you know, that speed where he was 2 steps ahead of people, now he's just 1.5 steps ahead of people. So they can close in on you, and if you can't finish as well as you used to, or you can't get up as high, then it's harder for you. So why not expand your game? And even him, he argued me, Derrick Rose expanded his game. I'm like, okay, well, what's his go-to move other than going to the rim? And his is a 15-foot bank shot. Well, in today's NBA, when you got Dame Lillard, John Wall, Steph Curry, all these other guys that can, but all those other guys can do other things on the floor. Derrick Rose is score, at this point in time in his career, score or bust. And it shouldn't be that way, because he's still as physically, if not more physically gifted than the majority of the players in the NBA. He's even, to me, he's still at this point in time in his career a better athlete than Steph Curry is. But the thing about Steph Curry is, Steph Curry is disciplined. Every year he goes out and adds different things to his thing.
Steph has a bigger bag than.
Well, no, that's not true.
I mean, but when it
bag of what?
Just saying more tools.
But Derrick Rose has the same. He has the same athletic ability. Well,
athletic ability and skill set are different, though.
Yes, but Derrick Rose proved when he was in Chicago and he won MVP that he has the skills in the toolbox. He just hasn't gotten better all around.
I don't know about him being on the same page as
No, I agree with that. When in 2011, bro, he looked like a monster, bro. He made LeBron look trash, bro. Like the way that he was going to work. But I think, to me, his problem is the fact that he keeps getting these reoccurring injuries, and he never changed his style of play. He only knows how to play explosive. You know what I'm saying? And you already have weak knees, and you keep doing them same jump stop moves. It's just his game just will never be the same. But he's a sad case, bro, because he was somebody that could have been great, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
one of the only people to ever win MVP.
He still could make the all.
Trash as they are.
You know, personally, he's still an outside chance. If he can somehow sneak in 1 or 2 more All-Star, but that's my 5.
I mean, personally, I just want to speak on D Rose. Personally, when it comes to D Rose, the reason why I mentioned the 15-foot bank shot is that's a very efficient shot. Like, this year he's shooting 50% so far. He was, maybe less than what last game is, but it's all off drives to the rim. It's all off drives to the rim or threes when he's wide open. And it's like, bro, I know you're not going to make that. Like, sometimes you can't get all the way to the rim. Like, everybody is not going to be a great shooter. You just aren't. But you still need effect. DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is not a great shooter. Right. But the fact that DeMar DeRozan has a very developed mid-range game and he can get to the paint still allows him to go out there and put up 26 points a night. So if D Rose could have expanded his mid-range game, and when I saw the 15-foot bank shot, that's a very efficient shot. Most times you can get that shot off.
Duncan.
No, it doesn't matter. Everybody's not going to be a great shooter.
Well,
D-Wade's not a great shooter.
I think the point he was making was not even to play moderator, but it's just he hasn't developed any of the other
Exactly. It's like, bro, if you can have a reliable mid-range 15 to 20-foot game, right? And with the speed that he already has, he can get to the rim anytime. Sometimes you can pull up 5 times a game. You can pull up. That's an easy 19, 20 points a night. Right. And get you 6 assists. You are a very, very valuable. You might go to the All-Star game.
Are you getting those assists though? That'd be the question, I think.
I mean, well, he's
averaging like 1 assist. He's literally just running to the rim and laying the ball up. He's pretty much, and when he was in New York last year, I was like, he gave me hope that he could still be a very.
Yeah, 17 last year.
Yeah, like 17-4.
Yeah.
It was moments in which he gave me hope, like, yo, he can still be a very decent player, a very possibly best serve as like a 6-man, but a very efficient 6-man type guy. That's why I was wishing he would go to the Spurs.
Like a Lou Will.
Yes, like a Lou Will, but who just can't shoot threes.
Like a fancy Lou Will. All right, so let me
Yeah, that's why the NBA better hope that the Cavs don't make it back to the finals.
They're gonna get. Really, that shit got swept last year. If it wasn't for that.
Last year it was low key. Last year low key should have won 6 games.
No,
it shouldn't.
It should have went 4 games.
Listen.
And the year before, it should have went 4 games.
It was closer than last year. Was slightly closer.
No, that one should have went 5. That should have ended in 5. But
last year it
wasn't. Look, in the league said, my nigga, the league said that they only suspended Draymond Green, bro, because the hang of the finals was in the balance, bro. That's the only reason they suspended Draymond Green for that shit. Because to me, if you look at the play, hold on.
Look at it. We're gonna do this.
Can I finish my statement, bro?
Not yet. Let me finish this shit real quick.
Oh, you thought that you wasn't rolling?
I just rolled. I changed it. I said that.
Okay,
I announced
it. Better be good, whatever you finna say.
You shouldn't have started. Don't say you shouldn't have cut you off.
You shouldn't have invited me, nigga. How about that?
I didn't know you was gonna be that nigga.
I'm always this nigga, bro. What do you mean?
I'll remember not to invite you next time, then.
Please. I'm an athlete, nigga. You got niggas talking sports. I'm gonna talk sports, bro. I don't know how to not. You was talking about the barbershop. It's like, nigga, this is the whole
These
segment.
niggas, if he was on camera, it wouldn't even have been a problem. These niggas is on camera. It's different.
I feel you. I'm not used to. Not that I'm not used to this, but I'm just not used to the setup, bro. My bad. I'm sorry. You know.
It's fine.
It's
not you. All the bill, my man.
I'm trying to fucking niggas interview up and shit.
It's all good. I say just want to get you guys out of here because I know you have a time limit, but definitely appreciate the conversation. Appreciate the candid. Appreciate you guys coming out, taking your time.
No, thanks. I appreciate it.
You guys just posted a new joint on SoundCloud. I just got the notification.
Yeah. We do happy hours. It's like midweek versions when we just like drink one beer and just chill, watch the game. It's kind of a more laid back. We don't really look at stats. We just like literally just talk.
It's kind of what we did when we first started. Really.
Got you.
I mean, yeah. It's kind of what we did. I mean, yeah. It was kind of what we did when we first started. I mean, we had a lot more statistics back then, just because we were sitting at our computer on our laptops. But now we just like turn on a game, and that way, like if you somebody and we watching a game, if we actually don't focus on the game. You can just go back and cut the game on, and you can literally just listen and watch the game. So let's just say, like, for example, if we watch a random game and it's a good game, and we happen to be doing a happy hour during it, and you might not necessarily always be following the context of the game as it's going, because you might forget about like, oh, whatever, they're just watching the game. If you want to go back and watch it while we watching it, you hear us go, oh shit, like.
And you'll see, you'll be a part of the experience.
Yeah, and you'll be a part of the experience, and like it's super chill, no cameras, because my fucking girl be driving me nuts. Because it just takes forever to set everything up and take it down. So,
brother, we might go together too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Shit at the house.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, she ain't a pain in my ass about it. Like, she don't really bother me about it at all. But it's like on the weekends, on the weeknights, like setting that shit up takes like an hour and a half, and it's just literally me setting all the shit up, rigging everything, and then we just shoot, and then I gotta break it all down and put it back up. So, we just like put out and they're not as long as the Hoops and Brews episodes, because those tend to get
2-hour episodes.
Yeah, I mean, we used. I mean, they used to be a lot shorter, but now that like we do more videos, and also now that we're trying to put an emphasis on like not just only talking about like 1 or 2 or 3 teams, it just makes the podcast a little bit bigger, because when we did our off-season previews, like he made a comment to me, he's like, bro, you realize like how much of basketball we actually watch? Like we did a NBA preview on every single team in the NBA, and we actually knew what we were talking about. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So even with the podcast, like before when we first started, it was really just about us like getting off like these hot takes and opinions that we have. But once the hot takes and opinions dry up, then you left with like, are you actually good to listen to? And that's really kind of where we're at now, where we're just like, we talking about things, but it's not so much centered around. And even with that being said, like now it's context. Right. So if you hear me say Chris Paul ain't a Hall of Famer, and you just come on the podcast, and you're like, what the fuck is he talking about? You can go back and you can look at episode 2, where his name, Chris Paul, is not a Hall of Famer, and then you can hear us have that first discussion, and then everything else will make sense. Or even the episodes where it's like Chris Paul is better than Steve Nash, or all these different things of
which
all these different topics. Yeah, like if you go back,
absolutely.
Well, fuck both of y'all. But if you go back and you look at all of that shit,
I heard that argument. I listened to that whole shit. I agree wholeheartedly. Somebody when I was it was like 09, somebody made the argument to me that Russell Westbrook wasn't going to be as good as Steve Nash. We were doing fantasy. My boy picked up
talent-wise, yes. But if we talking about winning and team ball, I'm taking Steve Nash.
You tripping, man.
You serious?
No, I'm dead ass serious. Talent? No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Pound for pound in terms of talent, Russell Westbrook is arguably.
So stop there.
Can you shut the fuck up and let me finish? No, it's not stop there. It's not stop there because I just said Derrick Rose earlier got all the fucking talent in the world, but he can't match it with his mentality, skill set, and trying to become a better player.
That's a bad example because
No, it's not because Steve. No, it's not. It's not because Steve Nash back damn near was injured half of his fucking career. So he was playing with a bad back the majority of his career.
And we talking player to player.
2 MVPs and 2 fucking MVPs.
You deserve him to MVP.
That's bullshit.
If we talking player to player,
player
to player, Russell Westbrook is a better basketball player than Steve Nash. Steve Nash might be more accomplished. Actually, Steve Nash not more accomplished because he ain't go to a finals.
So in your all-time rankings, you ranking Russell Westbrook higher than Steve Nash?
You
can't.
I can't, but as a
therefore
player,
he is not a better player. If we talking about talent, I will give you talent. It's a lot of guys that's better than a lot of motherfuckers that's in the top 10. Period. In terms of talent, but talent meets fucking execution is what greatness is to me. And if you're not going out there and you're not fucking executing, regardless of how fucking talented you are, yes. But the thing is that what you can say about Steve Nash is that on every team that he played on, the majority of the time, the people that he was playing with all around him had career years. With Russell Westbrook, you cannot say that. The only other person you can say had career years with him was Kevin Durant. But Kevin Durant is arguably
one time. It's the first time you see him with his own team.
Even as a second call with Steve Nash with fucking Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash was great on that team.
He was good.
Those teams did well.
He
was great on those teams.
He was good.
He was playing. No. But that's my point though. No, but that's
Michael Finley wasn't called for.
Wait a minute. That's my. Wait a minute.
Michael Finley was a hooper.
Wait a minute. My point is, Steve Nash with Michael Finley scoring 23 to 25 a game and Dirk scoring 20 to 25 a game was still giving you consistently 17 to 18 and 7 assists a game.
Not giving you 17
he was giving you 17
You guys read the stats?
Okay, fine. Okay, whoa. Fine. Even in those years, 17 and 7. But he was also
giving you 17.
Yeah, he was giving you around 16 to 17 a game, and then when he left, is when he made the jump to being 18, 19.
I'm not giving him.
We talked about this shit. He was putting up 19 in his MVP year, and he also perennially was shooting. He's a 90-50-40 shooter. He's a 90-50-40 club 3 times. Led the league in assists 5 times. Had arguably changed the fucking NBA offensive scheme. Him and fucking Mike D'Antoni. Don't tell me that Mike D'Antoni do that with everybody.
Nope,
you got to start it, and you got to do it with Steve Nash for you to even discover that it works. So without Steve Nash, you don't get Steph Curry. Without Steve Nash, you damn near don't even get the John Wall type of player because even in terms of the way that they run, because even the way how you do with John Wall, where you surround because even with Iverson,
but you had Jason Kidd as well.
But Iverson was not surrounded with shooters. Iverson, even Jason Kidd wasn't as good of a scorer as Steve Nash. You want to talk about Chris Paul kicking you 30. Steve Nash damn near probably could have gave you 25, 26 a game, but he was also averaging 19 and 10, 19 and 11.
But he wasn't going to average.
Yes, he could have. Steve Nash in the pick and roll gave people hell for fucking 8 years consistently. And
you had Amari, you had Sean Marion,
and all of those guys, with the exception of Amari going to New York, you saw what they were with Steve Nash, and you saw what they weren't
No,
without.
you didn't. John Mann was just in his prime with Steve Nash. Joe Johnson, you had fucking Joe Johnson for
Joe
him.
Johnson went and signed a fucking max.
And he was cold.
And been a fucking 6-7
Joe
months
Johnson
after
that
that.
cold.
He was
cold
He ain't the
in
same
Phoenix.
fucking player he was when he was playing with Steve
He was cold in
Nash.
Phoenix.
Come on, dude. And actually, now I think about it, didn't Joe Johnson leave before Steve Nash got there?
No.
And the best. Okay, well, even with that,
to the Nets.
even with that, the best year he had was with Steve Nash.
No, it
After that-
wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
You're
That's how
lying.
he got to that max.
You're lying.
He went to what?
That's not his best year.
No. He went to Atlanta and did what?
Went crazy.
And did what?
Went crazy.
They didn't do shit. They
That
got
doesn't
stomped on.
hurt. It's a
They got
fucking team
destroyed.
game. His best personal year.
They
His
got
best
destroyed.
personal year as
They
an
got
individual
destroyed.
basketball player did not come with Steve Nash.
It didn't.
It came in Atlanta.
They got
Not
destroyed.
even. It came
You
in
talking
Atlanta.
about team
Okay,
accomplishments?
fine, okay,
Then you
fine.
talking about team accomplishments?
No, I'm not because
yes,
I'm.
you
no,
are.
I-
You
no,
said
wait
they
a
didn't do
minute.
shit.
Wait a minute.
He
I
didn't
brought that.
whoa.
Whoa. I specifically said that point for Steve Nash. Fine, even Joe Johnson. The majority of the players that played with Steve Nash had career years when they was playing with Steve Nash. Period. You can't say that about Russell Westbrook. So if we talking about talent for talent, yes we are. Steve Nash.
Hold on.
Fucking, you think Boris Diaw would be fucking Boris Diaw without Steve Nash?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
he wouldn't be fucking Boris Diaw without
Diaw
Steve
might be out
Nash.
the
You think
league.
Rajah Bell would have had as long of a career as he would have had without Steve
yes.
Nash?
Was-
Sean Marion
was-
wouldn't have fucking went with Dirk and got that ring without Steve Nash.
Okay,
No.
wait. So we gotta wrap up. Hold on, wait. We gotta
ring.
hold up. We gotta wrap up. That's all I'm saying. I love this fucking conversation.
It's fine, but
Westbrook
yeah.
better than Steve Nash.
No, he's
It's all
not.
good.
He's
That's
not.
true.
He's not.
Look,
With talent,
He's more
no.
athletic
Say
than-
no.
We're
Say Westbrook is
judging
more
careers,
talented. If
though,
you're not
bro.
telling me you taking somebody over them in the top of all time conversation, that
more
person
so,
not
the only
better.
way you can really judge this, my nigga, is judge at the point in their career. Russ is what, 6 or 7 years in?
No,
7
him
years
and no, they 9 years
Like
in.
this, 19 years in.
Okay, so you judge Steve Nash at 9 years in, because we judging the illustriousness of Steve Nash's career. You gotta
No,
wait to say.
my other
when
point
it's
is
all said
Steve
and
Nash
done, bro.
Steve Nash in Dallas fucked up his back. So he won 2 MVPs. Every game they won that was a blowout, you didn't see Steve Nash on the bench. You saw Steve Nash laying on the fucking floor with a heating pad on his back with his head straight up. Because his back was fucked up. He won 2 MVPs on a bad back. Also took his team to the #1 seed. Also took his team to the conference finals. Got hosed by the fucking NBA with that bullshit that they called down there in San Antonio. Like they got hosed. So my whole thing is,
Hold on.
and I watched a lot of Phoenix games in that period of time because when I lived in Chicago, my mother was a huge basketball fan before she got like older in her life. So during the years, like pretty much between like 2003 to damn near up to when I moved out to LA, I had league pass. But I'm the type of person that stay up all night long. So all I did when I was a kid was watch Lakers games, Phoenix games, Kings games, and Warriors games. I remember fucking watching Michael Petrus, fucking Andres Beerson. I'm sorry, Beatrice. I remember fucking watching Peja and fucking Chris Webber and all the motherfuckers on their last leg. I remember Steve Nash going to the fucking Suns because Steve Nash was my favorite player at that point in time, and everybody's like, he's trash, he ain't gonna be nothing without Dirk, whatever. I'm like, okay, watch. Went to Phoenix, he went fucking crazy. So I used to watch all of those games the same way that I always talk to people in terms about Steph Curry when they call him a shooter only or one-dimensional player. You have to watch the game to see how much he affects what everybody else does on the floor. With Russell Westbrook, no one with Russell Westbrook is having career years. That's my point.
It's his
and that's
first
why.
year.
But you play with fucking
time.
Kevin Durant, dog. You can't tell me that there's no reason why they couldn't have gotten over the hump, other than the fact that Russell Westbrook didn't propel
It's
himself to a
more than
superstar level. And
It's
if you're
more
telling me
than
he's a
that.
top 5 player, then he should have been that the whole time.
He was.
No, he wasn't. He ain't been
For
a
the
top 5
last
player the
year?
whole time. No, he wasn't. But
The last year that
it's
he
cool.
was with- okay.
We get out of here. Hoopsandbrews.com. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at RealTPJ. That's RealTPJ. Follow us on hoopsandbrews.com. I'm sorry, Hoops and Brews, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud,
And the website too.
iTunes. Yeah. Just search Hoops and Brews. Hoops the letter N, the word Brews. And yeah, I'll let him talk because I'm tired of it.
Yeah, man. At Pavy World on Twitter is my personal page. Pavy World, all one word. Like you said, man, Hoops and Brews. Hoops and Brews. Go follow us on Twitter. Go follow us on Instagram. Check out the website. I just wrote an article. It's called "The Knicks Owe Phil Jackson an Apology."
I saw that.
Go check that out.
Check that shit out.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much, my man.
Pleasure, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Get you guys up out of here, dog.
It's all good, bro.
It's been amazing.